WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish like bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle-Eyed Football and welcome back to another episode of your favourite show, my favourite show. It's TACT-EAGLE. We're back again. Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, all good. I feel like I've released all my energy regarding Saturday. It's all gone now. I feel I've accepted it. I was fuming for a few days, but I think I'm okay now.
So the vibes are good now.
Yeah, and you know what? Looking at Fulham, it doesn't seem as bad as maybe I'd initially thought as well. But anyways, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'd like to start this by saying thank you everyone for watching the fan cams. I did misspeak in my fan cam.
I haven't seen your fan cam. What did you say?
What I tried to say is that I think the referee should have been a bit more card happy in that game against Everton. But what I actually said is the ref should have sent a few of their players off. I went a little bit numb. I went a bit smooth in the brain when those words were coming out of my mouth. I was trying to say he should have been a bit more card happy, but I think people off. And
I think we can pass that off as hyperbole. I think.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. But thank you guys already. Quite a few of you in the chat. Big Up Dog says Fulham away is such an unpredictable game to call. Have you seen that they've banned taking any bags whatsoever into the away end? Like no bags, no nothing. I think they're traumatized for the flares that the HF were on the pitch last time, aren't they?
So I saw that, and I saw that their women's group collaborated with our women's group to basically say, like, you know, there's things that we like to keep in bags, and other people as well who maybe are taking like medication or something like that, or you got like kids or something, to basically say like that's absolutely ridiculous. So it seems like they've gone back on that now. Is they said that you can take a small bag, but what a small bag is, I don't know.
Bag of what? That's what I don't know. But
yeah, I'm sure there'll be quite a few of those in the away end on Saturday.
Yeah, Big Up Chairman says different game Saturday. Big Up Damo. Big Up Durfez says we need to ensure Kamada's not in the squad for this match. I think he should be on the bench, not starting, but definitely on the bench. Chairman saying down, let it go.
Frozen.
Even
animal.
Brother, you don't have to be doing that one. A frozen.
That's why Chairman said it.
A frozen reference.
Yeah, but I didn't make the reference. Chairman did.
Literally just said it's frozen. Nah, man, that's a sin-binnable offence.
Chairman, back me up here.
He don't even know what a frozen is. he thinks frozen is what you get out of the bloody freezer, mate.
But yeah, no, it seems like they've gone back on that decision anyway. Thankfully, and I think that's such an overreaction to it. I think.
Oh yeah, I've seen this as well. They stopped the flags and they've stopped all drums as well. So
yeah.
Normally, you're allowed at them, the dog. So not most stadiums allow it if you wanted to bring it. So I know Villa allows it. I know Wolves allows it. I know that the Emirates doesn't because there was a flap about it when we were there, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
They had a big fight over the bloody drum. You're thinking, bro, the drum's literally this big. It's literally the same size as the air purifier. It's like tiny.
Yeah, it's not a big drum. And like I say, what they'll do is that they'll contact the club in advance and kind of say, you know, can we take it? Yes or no. to be honest, and this isn't me taking digs at anyone, but HF don't go to a lot. Don't go as a group to a lot of away games. So
Not anymore.
not anymore. No.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the predicted 11. Predicted 11. You know what time it is. It's injury time, baby. Anyway, let's get into Fulham's injuries. Harry Wilson, he is injured until April. Kenny Tete, injured until April. Reece Nelson, thigh injury, no return date. So that could mean he's out for longer. It could mean he's back in the next game. Who knows? The only one is Sasha Lukic. It says he will be back, or he has a potential return date for this game, but he's only got 25% chance of making it back. So when we go through the predicted 11, I have got Lukic in there, but we could swap him out for Reed or Kearney, which will probably be the natural replacement for him if that was to happen. Going to Crystal Palace, good news, Mateus França did not get injured during his under-21s game. He actually did all right. I think someone actually said it on Twitter. Actually, he said someone was saying, "Oh, França looks rubbish. Kapora looks miles better." Blah blah blah. Kapora was the man of the match in that game. I'm not going to lie to you, but we have to remember that França's coming back from a horrendous run of injuries, so he's literally just getting fitness. And remember when Eze came back from his ACL, he played a few games in the youth team. You didn't hear anything from him. Half the people didn't even know he was playing. So, you know.
Yeah, and also, like, I think from what I saw as well, I started watching from about, I think, 15, 20 minutes in. Like, I think in the first half, he didn't necessarily get about as much. But
So
I think
part of
that
the second half, he was doing really well, actually.
Yeah, and in second half, he put himself... But even in the first half, even though he wasn't necessarily getting about as much, whenever he did have the ball, he always made an opportunity or did a nice pass to someone. Like, he never lost the ball or did anything stupid. So, you know, I think, and you could easily tell that he was a technical class above pretty much everyone else on the pitch. It is literally just a case of, like, fitness, I think.
Yeah, so, you know, when he's fit, I'm sure he's going to come good. And let's be real, I don't think Dougie's going to sanction a £20 million signing of a random Brazilian kid if he didn't think he had the minerals. And even then, last year, when Glasner brought him on against Burnley, assist and a penalty, like, in, 10 minutes. So he's definitely got something there. Mm-hmm. Other than that, Chadi Riyad injured until next year. Czech Decore injured until next season. And Joe Ward has got a calf strain, so got no idea what's happening there. Bro's just chilling, getting a paycheck. I bet you he'll get a coaching job at the end of this year or something like that.
I wouldn't be against that, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't be either. Let's go into the predicted 11. I have gone with the yellow kit here, unfortunately, but I think that's what we're going to play. So, big talking points in this team that I've selected. And I think you'll see it straight away, don't you, Mr. Dan? In goal, Dean Henderson. Left wing back, I have gone with Ben Chilwell to get his first start within the Premier League. With Mark, Lacroix, Richards and Munoz to fill out the back line, with Adam Wharton and Will Hughes in the middle. Starting Eze, Mateta and Ismaila Sarr. Dan, do you agree or do you disagree? That is the question.
I agree. And I think I'm preempting what the questions are going to be. Firstly, I didn't have Chilwell in mind, but that's because I actually forgot that I'm so used to just putting Tyrone Mitchell there. That
he was the first person on your team sheet.
I just forgot, to be honest. But absolutely, I think I'm putting Chilwell there. And I know another question is going to be, because I know we briefly talked about it on the review the other day about whether Esse should be getting more minutes. I actually think this is a perfect game for Sarr to play, I think. But yeah, so I went with that exact team.
Because I went with Chilwell yes, I do understand the fact of Castagna and Traore. You want your best defenders there to literally just mark one of the two because both of them are very good. Traore, Mr. Baby Oil himself. No, that's not. I can't say that anymore, can I? Because a certain other person is Baby Oil.
Well, you could say he's a slippery customer.
Could I say running cream, or is that a bit of a mad one? The slippery boy.
That's even worse.
Him, Mr. Muscles. There we go. He's fast. And he's amazing at everything apart from scoring goals, unless he's playing against Crystal Palace. Because I seem to remember a certain game against Wolves where he just scored 2 goals against us and he hasn't scored all season. So great. But Castagna is also a very good attacking right back as well. And you might be thinking, well, why am I thinking of putting Chilwell there? Honestly, I think the best form of defense is probably attack in this situation because they've got so much going forwards that if we set up to defend against them and only defend against them, we're going to have nothing going forwards ourselves. So we could either make it a stalemate, or if they go 1 up, we'll never get back into the game again. So I do think that Chilwell having that little bit extra down that left-hand side would more likely unlock Eze and give him the ability to start playmaking a lot better, especially with Wharton in there as well. I do think that that's probably the best way we can actually get, going forwards. And also, if you really think about it like that, our whole left side of our team is all English as well. So that could be a little look forwards to the next England call ups. Could have all 4 of those guys in there. But that's why I went with Chilwell. But for Ismail Assar, I know that Dan's going to be talking about how we can attack them, how they defend. But Robinson, he likes to attack. He hardly ever plays left back. Sarr could literally just stand in the pocket in between him and the offside trap. Castagna, not the fast guy in the world. Anderson, we know he's not the fast guy in the world. And Calvin Bassey, not the fast guy in the world, but has also had a very good season. I've been a very big critic of Bassey. I thought he's been rubbish for years and years and years. And he has been, but he's been very, very good this year.
Mm-hmm.
Going on to their team, they play a 4-2-3-1 kind of formation. Let me get my notes out here. Yeah, 4-2-3-1 formation with Leno, Robinson, Bassey, Anderson, Castagna at the back, with Berg, Lukic. I think just to be safe, I'll probably put Reed in there. I think Kearney could also play there as well, but Reed is like a beat. Reed is just a ginger version of Will Hughes, but worse.
He came on the other day as well when he got injured. Lukic. He's going to be a big miss for Fulham. I think he's a very underrated player.
He's a very, very good player.
Mm-hmm.
Smith Rowe in that central 10. He's been playing a lot, linked with us in the summer. So, he's probably going to play that little bit better against us as well. Jimenez up front, who's having a very good season. Alex Iwobi and Adama Traore on the wings. You in agreement?
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got.
Cool. Let's go into some more comments before we go into the attack. Patrick, is the HF the reason that the atmosphere died against Everton? No, the team didn't give us anything to cheer about, really.
Yeah, I agree.
France had a decent second half. Schlupp versus Elise in the Champions League. Schlupp being a Champions League player just doesn't sit right with me.
Well, he's a Premier League winner as well. And also, this isn't actually the first time he's played Champions League. He played it at Leicester.
The dog said we need to give Mustafi some respect. He plays like Bellingham. He was very good.
He was good. He was my third best Palace player that game, I think.
I thought Adebayomi had a decent game up front as well. Scored a nice flick as well.
Yeah, him and shout out to Dylan Reed as well. I thought Dylan Reed
nice goal.
Yeah, good goal.
Look, it was a P roller, but the keeper out goes nowhere near it. Animal says Riyadh out till next year. Well, PremInjuries.com said he has a knee injury. He's ruptured his ACL and his meniscus in his knee. His potential return date is the 1st of the 1st, 2026. So, yes, next year.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise you too much. It wouldn't surprise you he's out longer than that. If I'm to be.
Yeah, because ACL and the meniscus is crazy.
And you think he did his MCL not long ago as well, like.
Yeah, so basically he's going to come back with Robocop as his left leg.
Yeah, literally. Let's hope he's all right when he comes back.
Yeah, because that's horrible, especially to the fact he's had no injuries up until he came to bloody Crystal Palace. But you know, that's talking for another day. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole. Francis will be right for the last game, played brilliantly, then gets injured in preseason. No, we have faith. Is Salah left-footed? Far from it. He's so right-footed. It's untrue.
He's right-footed, but to be honest, not spoiling too much, I think a right footer would make sense with the situations I think will develop later anyway.
Well, funny enough, you say that. I have noticed that bigger teams have sort of gone back to traditional wingers again. Because I don't know if you've noticed it with Guardiola and Savio. Instead of him being a right winger, he's used him as a left winger, and he's just literally running down to the byline, crossing it in, and Haaland's just tapping him in. That's why he's scoring again.
I always find it so interesting how like tactics are just cyclical. Like
it's just a big circle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like in 10 years' time, we'll probably be back where we were. Maybe 10 years, like 20, 30 years.
Football really is just rock, paper, scissors, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every single thing beats the other one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like last season when Guardiola started playing with Haaland and
Alvarez
and Alvarez, and people were like, "Oh, he's invented the big man little man combination." It's like, no, shut up. Like, were you not about for Peter Crouch and Jermaine Defoe? Like, anyway,
yeah, I was finding it really interesting because I was thinking, like, wow, we're really going back to that again. But I'm not mad at it. I'm really not. If anything, Glasgow's ahead of the game because we had Sarr already, but we'll just gloss over that one. Animal says time to give Ty a rest. He's been attacking third. Watch the boy who picked last teams. Everyone's apprehensive. I think SA starts versus Millwall, but we sub him on for Sarr if he gets tired.
Yeah.
Chilwell seems more attackingly minded compared to Tariq Mitchell. Wow, loads of comments. Only a few left. Yeah, we are doomed. Iwobi is arguably their best player. He will be a talking point. We still have a Europa League winner as a manager. Agbenone, or whatever his name is, had a great debut. I think he actually got a hamstring injury in his last game, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Is it true that Anderson's getting a hard time from the Fulham fans? Yes, he is. They're saying don't let Palace know, but they just robbed us. I think that was a tweet that I saw from a Fulham fan. Chair says, didn't we use our home kit against them last year? I think we did, actually, didn't we?
That does ring a bell. I mean, it would make sense because because I can't remember what was the other kit we had. Because obviously I know we had the white and the light blue sash, but what was the other one? I can't remember now.
That was an all black kit as well.
Okay, I don't know why we didn't play the all black. Maybe it's because
they have black shorts. They have black shorts for them.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Chairman's right actually that we played our home kit, so we could play our home kit there as well. Most things are cynical, and big up Andy.
Big up Andy.
Cool. Let us go into some how Fulham attack. Let's hope I got the right one. No, I did not. So, I think some of the most important things to say when it comes to how Fulham attack is that they've got a lot of different weapons in their arsenal, and I'll display them before I go in a little bit more tactically. So, what are their main outlets? Let's say the first one is someone that used to play for Crystal Palace, Mr. Joachim Andersen. He does have his advantages and disadvantages. Advantages being he is a leader in the back line. There's no denying that. And probably the main one that we're going to be talking about is his range of passing. We are missing his range of passing in our game right now. If he was still in our team instead of Richards, that would be amazing. But he's not. We got 30 million for a 30-year-old. You can't say no to it. But even though he's slower, even though he's sort of getting to the end of it, even though the Fulham fans are turning on him a little bit, that passing ability is an easy get out card. How many times have we used it for us? The amount of times that we've just literally had a corner, it's been a bit of a scramble. He's looked up and he's just lobbed it to Michael, or he's lobbed it to Eze. He is an easy out, and he's also very pivotal in how they actually attack. Marco Silva's a manager that has different kinds of working the ball forwards and creating attacks. He is very much adaptable to whatever team he's playing against. So, for example, if he's playing against a team like us, which can shift between a high line and a low block, when the opposition are in like a high line state, let's move our players up like this. If we are playing in a high line state like this, what will happen? Let me get a ball. I always seem to forget the ball. What they will be doing is Anderson, instead of maybe passing it into Smith Rowe to then pass it to Jimenez, or to do all of this, what they will do is they'll just be extremely direct because they've got all this space to run into. So you could literally see, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this exact play, Munoz goes up to try and stop this ball out to Robinson, but Anderson would ping the ball in behind here and have Iwobi run into space there. But not only would the passes be there out wide, Anderson could also hit it long straight down the pitch as well. Because how many times has he done that for us? Whether this is a pass that goes in the air, or whether he would pick up the ball, take a few touches to, it's like if you stand in here, let's say, you got Eze, Wharton, Lacroix in the way of this pass to Jimenez on the floor. But Anderson's more than capable of taking a touch or two, and then you've got an easy ball there actually to feet. I think a goal that he did this exact thing, but a little bit higher up the pitch, was when Ayew scored against Arsenal, I think it was. I think he literally picked up the ball from Mark, took a few touches forwards, and just sent a reverse pass or went all the way to Ayew that literally just took one touch and scored from it. So his passing range is going to be pivotal in how they attack, whether it's a long range pass or whether he's working the ball out from the back. When they are in these kind of situations, when like here, let's say, let's put our players back, we will tuck in. But what they like to do was with Jimenez, Iwobi, and Smith Rowe particularly, this doesn't really apply to Traore that much because he doesn't really run inside to shoot. He likes to get down to the byline and use his right foot, or sort of like what I was saying with Savinho. He's like a traditional winger. He wants to use his right foot to cross the ball across, because with his right foot, he could actually cross from about here and then still get it in front of the player here. So there, you don't actually have to cut inside and set up. You can just whip the ball as he's running at pace. So he's more likely to get down to the byline and cross the ball in. But with these three, Jimenez, Smith Rowe, and Iwobi, they're more likely to take the shot on the first touch. So they wouldn't actually take a touch and just take the shot, or they take a touch and take the shot very early to not allow the keeper to settle. I think that's how they scored against Newcastle. I don't think their goalkeeper was ready for it. They thought he was going to take a touch from outside the box and then, shoot wherever. But the fact that as the ball came across, who was it that scored? I think Muniz. I think when the ball literally came across to him, he hit it first time. And it wasn't in the corner. He just hit it at a time when the goalkeeper wasn't expecting it, and it just rolled into the net. So they're very good at shooting at chances where you wouldn't really expect them to shoot, and that's how they score as many goals as they do. Other things which most teams are good at, transitions. They do press very high. I think Dan might talk about that a little bit more, but they are actually quite a good team when pressing, when out of possession. But they press sort of a little bit. Oh, okay. They do like to press a little bit like how we do. They'll like to swarm the ball and put a load of people around the ball. But an easy way out of that is just lifting it over their heads. But it's a lot easier said than done in that situation. Probably the main thing that I would say with the front four is literally just the movement. I think the movement off of the ball from these four players is insane. The main one is Iwobi. Absolutely incredible footballer off the ball because he is sort of the one that I'll put it this way, he's the one that picked our team apart in the home leg. The fact that he was able to do everything. He was playing out on this left wing, but there were times where these three were pressing the back line and he would drop into the pocket here to receive the ball, turn and run forwards. You see times where he was over here helping link up the play with Traore to then, send him on his way down the wing and then also make another run inside to then make it a one-on-one situation with all of our players here. They'd also like to attack very aggressively as well. Like you could see a time where both fullbacks are actually up, making a huge overload in their favour in our defensive half. But, great going forward. You've got all these options. But if we do be able to instep the ball, they've only got 4 people back. But that's sort of a thing that I think Dan's going to talk a little bit more about. But the off-the-ball movement is really the main thing. They just make so much space for each other. Each one of those players can play in each position. Yes, that does leave them all over the place when it comes to when you transition. When you get the ball and you go at them, they're all over the place up front. But the back is very sturdy, very solid. They're not really going to move too much. But the fact that they like to cross, they're very quick, they're good at their decision making, they can transition between long passing to really quick build-up play. They're a very formidable force to defend against, really. How to defend against them? It's a tough one because I don't think that they're impossible to stop scoring, but I think that with the quality and the form that they have, I do think it's quite hard to stop them from scoring. Yes, we do have one of the best away records for goals conceded in the whole Premier League, but they are a very, very good team, and we can't forget that. I think the best way to maybe get at them is doing shadow pressing, trying to press them without actually allowing them any space in behind. Yes, I did literally just go on a whole spiel about how they're great moving off the ball, but I do think that maybe, I wouldn't say man-to-man marking them, but following those players around as they're moving is probably a better way than just sitting in your zonally marked areas, because there could be a time where they have 4 players on the left and 1 player up front, and we're going to have our back line as rigid as it always is, and no one's out there to stop the 3v1 over there. So I do think that maybe a little bit more man marking should be involved in this game on our side, especially at corners, because they are decent at attacking corners as well. They are, as Dan said a few weeks ago, they are a very dribbly team. They like to pick up the ball and drive at you. They've got a lot of players to do that. Traore, Smith-Rowe, Jimenez, Iwobi, Anderson, Robinson, Castagna, they can all do it. So I think another thing I'd say is back yourself in a one-on-one situation if you're a defender. And I think be very aggressive in that one-on-one as well. Because we play a 5 at the back, one of our defenders can commit themselves and we'll still have 4 back. So I do think that's probably something that we should do. Be very aggressive when they try and launch the ball forwards. To be fair, we always are really aggressive when they launch the ball forwards, like the Quaz. How many times do you just run straight through someone just trying to get the ball? I think keep that going, because if we allow them to pick up the ball and turn, it's going to be a long evening for us. But yeah, I think utilising the fact that we've got 1 more defender than normally other teams do, trying to create overloads in our favour, maybe telling Hughes to maybe not push as far forward as he normally does, maybe allow Wharton to be the one who's dictating the play and Hughes to be a little bit more defensive in this game. Just try and not concede any really stupid goals as well. And the last 2 things I'd like to say is they do struggle to break down low blocks when they are tired. the amount of moving they do off the ball makes their team tired. They have got good players on the bench. I'm not get that wrong, but they're not as good as their starting 11, and they really struggle to break down low blocks when they're all on tired legs. So that's really the time. If we're up, sit deep, they'll really struggle to score against us. And also, if there's pinball in the box, just hoof it. Please. We spoke about this on the review. Just hoof it long. I do not care. So, that's how Fulham attack and how I think we should defend. Dan, do you have any questions?
No, I think that's it. Actually, only one question. I just because it's just because it kind of aids my bit. Do you think Robinson tends to go up more than Castagna?
Way more.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's what I thought too. But I just wanted to see what you thought.
Because when they press, let's do this. They press kind of similar to us. So you know how when we press, we sort of go like this, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got so you got him there. Munoz goes up, and then we sort of press like this, don't we? In a 4-4-2, Munoz goes up and sits here in the midfield, and then we sort of move around like that, basically.
Yeah.
But what I've seen that they do, let's put us in our formation again. They do something a little bit. It's similar, but it's not the same. So they will have a team like this. So they will do something very similar. So with our formation specifically, what they will try and do is they'll leave the weakest link in their eyes open. So they would want the ball to go to maybe Chris Richards here, because he's probably the worst on the ball out of our team, I would say. So what they would do is they would do something like this when it comes to the press that they do. And then you sort of have like two in the midfield here. So they would sort of be like this. So Berg would sit, Castagna would go, Robinson would go, and then these two would sort of, like, I guess, zonally mark this area, but everyone else will be man-to-man apart from the person that they want the ball to go to. And because they've done this, they'd want the ball to go to there, but then how they've done it as well is so that they can still swarm like that. And then because he's, I guess, the worst on the ball, they've got little... they would think that he's not probably got the facilities to see that pass or even see that pass. That's what I would say.
Okay. Cool.
Let's go through some comments really quickly. Let's get back to where I was.
There's been a lot of comments. We see them pop up on the side, and there's some great discussion going on.
Is there any that you've seen that we should talk about? Because I'm seeing a lot of them's got a lot of writing on them. I'm not saying I can't read, because I can't really, but if any of them stick out to you, mate, then we'll go through those.
Just what. Big up, Andy.
Big up, Andy.
Thanks for joining us. And then the discussion, I guess, kind of starts with Andy's second comment. It's about Chilwell going forwards and Ty. You know, whether, and it's a discussion about whether we think basically we should be starting him or not.
I think that there's always that little bit of, he's a Chelsea player and this and that. But I do think that Tariq needs a rest. Let's not get that wrong. Yes, he did drop a stinker against Everton. Yes, he made a mistake, but everyone makes mistakes. But the fact that he's been our only player for the last 3 years, and that's Cup, League, pre-season, everything. Even in international breaks when he was for England, he still came back and played for us next week. He needs a rest more than anything. And yes, you say, do we really want to be doing getting another Chelsea person back in the spotlight, getting them market ready to sell? To be fair, he's a great player, and you would be stupid not to use him. And we wouldn't have gone out and paid 70 grand a week for him if we didn't think so. Hey man, just found this place. Thank you very much. Is it less toxic?
I think we're pretty untoxic, to be honest.
I
especially TACT-EAGLE as well. It's probably one of the. It's probably
the
one of the few.
tamest.
It's probably one of the few Crystal Palace weekly episodes of any stream that you probably come out happier than when you begin. To be honest,
Yeah, unless we're playing against Liverpool, Man City. Then we come out of this going, "Oh, why did I just spend an hour talking about this nonsense?" Yeah, even Kevin's saying zero toxic, all mates here.
thank you,
Not
Kevin.
offended. There is banter though, so if there is a little bit of banter, do not be afraid to send it back our way because we don't take ourselves too seriously. Let's just go down a little bit. Hope Ty is a one club man. You know, it doesn't really happen anymore in football. Durfus says, I want to see us conceding fewer than 4 goals. I hope we don't concede that many. Schlupp playing against Bayern tonight. If we don't get a proper left wing back in the summer, Glasner would probably walk. I don't think it'll be that deep, but I think if we don't have like a clear plan for the summer, it wouldn't surprise me because he's done it before.
Yeah,
The dog saying, "Oh, yeah, go on."
I think I will say as well, especially because and also I've seen like the discussion in the chat as well about the left wing back. I think the thing is for Glasner, a left wing back, especially the left hand side as well, for whatever reason. Well, there is a reason for it, but certainly when he was at Frankfurt, the left hand side was such an important position for him. Like Kostic, I think he was got like 13, 14 assists in a Bundesliga season, which is only 34 games.
I think it was 16 in all comps as well.
So 16 in all comps. Yeah, so that's what I mean. He was a left wing back, and I think the reason why especially that left-hand side is so important is because in an ideal world, our right-sided defender would be the one that overloads the right-hand side, and then the left-hand side able to, you switch it straight to, say, like a Kostic. He's then able to bring it down, maybe touch it on a little bit, and then whip that ball in. And I think it's such a specialist position in the Glasser system that if you're not going to back him just in that one position, then I do kind of agree. It is a little bit like, you know, what's the point really? I mean, if you're going to back him in any position, it's probably going to be that one, I think, to be honest.
The dog saying, good point. They really struggled to break down Southampton's low block late into the game.
I think they drew 0-0, didn't they, against Southampton?
Mm-hmm.
Good stat for you, actually. They've only not scored in the Premier League 3 times this season. Once was against Southampton, and the other 2 times were against Man United.
Damn.
Yeah, no.
I mean, if you actually look at Fulham, they've done pretty well in the table, but they've actually struggled. They've done a little bit like what we've been doing. They struggle against the teams around them, but then they do really well against the teams above them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So does this mean this will be 0-0? Maybe. I hope so.
Could be.
Glasner won't walk. Banter's a part of football. I wouldn't want it without it. 14 assists in the season would be a club record. How many did Michael get? Did he get 10 or was it more than 10? I remember he got double digits. Because I remember there was a game where he officially hit 10 goals, 10 assists last year. But did he get more?
Let's have a look. So last season he got, last season the highest was Jordan Ayew was 7. And then the season before that he got 11. At least say
close. There you go. Tim's ahead of the game, mate. He's faster than the internet.
Woo-hoo.
All right, cool. Let us go into some defense.
Now, I was really surprised by Fulham when I was doing the defense because I watched what JC said in the reverse fixture, however many months ago that was now, and then I went and looked at the stats. JC, where do you think Fulham rank in expected goals against?
So does that mean goals conceded for Fulham?
Yeah. So not goals, but like chances. So just the XG of what they've conceded.
I mean, from what I saw,
So where do you rank roughly? Where do you think they rank? Like, I don't know, like 5th, 7th, the 10th, whatever.
12.
Third. They've got the third best defense in the league.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
And they're cussing Anderson.
And I was completely blown away by that. Now, in terms of actual goals conceded, they are a little bit higher. So they have conceded more than perhaps they should have in that sense. They've conceded 33 goals. But yeah.
Would that be a thing of the keeper's badge? Or not saving what you should be?
I think it's a bit of both. So Leno normally is a very good shot stopper, both in real life and also shown in the stats as well. But I think as well, I think they've also just conceded some mad shots as well, because whatever they concede more, so like they've conceded 5 goals more. Those 5 goals aren't necessarily because Leno didn't save it properly. It could also just be they've conceded some very, very extremely good finishes from, I don't know, say like outside the box or whatever. But they rank 3rd for XG, which is better than Forest. In fact, the only 2 teams better is Liverpool and Arsenal.
Damn.
I know. And they concede the 4th fewest shots against this season. And also, they don't concede high quality chances on average either, 0.10. So that's the 6th lowest in the Premier League. Now, part of this reason, I think, is they do rank 7th for possession. So they think they keep the ball about 52% of the time. So obviously, they keep the ball, they don't concede. And with that as well, they just don't seem to give up a lot. Like, for example, they have the 3rd fewest completed crosses into their box. The 7th fewest passes completed into their box, 6.8. They also have the fewest carries allowed into their box in the league as well, 4.24 per game apparently. I don't know. It was a bit of an odd one, and I think let me look at where they give up as well. So they allow the 4th fewest touches in their box of any team in the league. I was so blown away by it because in my mind I was like, oh, Fulham are the kind of team they're very good in attack, but then they obviously must concede a lot of chances. It doesn't seem to be that way. But what they do isn't that dissimilar to what JC was saying they used to do a long time ago. So I just
Jeffrey Schlupp is starting for Celtic.
Well, I'm not surprised. He's probably one of their best players.
So he's playing against Michael right now.
I think I'll have to tune on that one afterwards.
100%.
But yeah, so what they do is that they don't really do much different. So I will just gloss over this. And I'll talk more about what we can do in a minute. But just to kind of give a little overview, generally, let's say the ball's over here. Okay, let's say we've got the ball near to their box, etc., something like this, and whatever. Okay, say something like that. They will have this kind of arrangement of player in this box. So what they're doing is they are really trying to, so let's say Eze has the ball here, they're really trying to make sure that you can't get through. So they'll try and block this shot, try and get in the way of it, try and force maybe Eze to think twice about that shot and maybe pass it back and whatever. And now these 4, the 4 kind of further up the pitch, they don't really seem to defend as much. They just kind of seem to be in and around just to kind of put off, maybe say like, you know, if they were in this position, rather than letting, say, Ben Chilwell in all this space, you know, then maybe a Traore will track back in this situation. But besides that, they're not Traore, Smith Rowe, Iwobi, Jimenez. They're not really there to kind of actively defend. like these players are. Like these players will actively move towards the ball, try and win the ball, close down, etc., etc. And obviously, like I said, this seems to be an effective tactic. I'll come back to this later. When they are in, let's say, in more of a mid block, it tends to be. I notice that they tend to defend in like a 4-4-2, which is very, very normal in the Premier League these days. So it would look something like this. Say, now the reason why this is so popular is because you've got the two front players on the double pivots, and also it just gives good coverage for defending. Because obviously, like, you know, if someone is here and they do receive the ball, then you know they can close down. You know, if the ball gets popped out wide, to say like Jen Chilwell, you know, this player can just come out here, they can move over, etc., etc. Slight variation on this. Let's say now, one thing I will say is that I haven't really seen them play a team that builds up like we do with like a back three in that sense. So what you may see may be slightly different. So what you may see is you may actually see, say like Traore push up, because generally what would happen if they were playing a team that played with a four at the back, say in build up, and it was, I don't know, say something like this, and you had that. Generally, what would happen is, let's say, I don't know, this fullback or a midfielder drops to try and make a back three to try and help the build up. What would then happen would be one of these players would then move towards them and they would shift over ever so slightly to make a 4-3-3 block. And this is only to basically try and close down this build up, basically. Then, just moving on, JC's already alluded to this. They do press high, but not all the time. Again, they are a bit like us, where I only noticed it in certain situations. I thought that they really will try to press, and if they do, it's only really. I don't think they're trying to win high turnovers and try and turn it into attack high up. I think what they're trying to do is they're just trying to contain the ball. They're trying to maybe force a team to go long, and then they win it, you know, somewhere over here, somewhere with Anderson and Bassi, who are both very, very decent in the air. And yeah, I mean, this can look in the form of like, you know, him as pushing up here, but they'll press roughly in very similar ways to how a lot of teams would press. So let's say Mark Gay gets the ball, let's say we're just pushed up and we're looking something a bit more like this and whatever. You know, Jimenez will split the pitch, make it so that, you know, we're forced down this left-hand side, and then they're going to make sure that, you know, when say Chilwell receives the ball, they're going to be up in his face. And again, it's not really necessary to win the ball here. Their aim isn't really to win it, but they want to maybe force Chilwell to go back, and then they're going to run onto it, and then maybe Gay's going to have to hit it long, and then they're going to take their chances with, say, Anderson's aerial ability against, say, like Eze. And that's basically how they are going to play. As I said, they haven't changed very much since we last talked about them, and that is a brief overview of what they will do. Now, what about their exploits? So, now, one thing I do think they are a bit susceptible to doing. So let's say, I don't know, Chris Richards has received the ball over here, and we're looking something a bit more like this, let's say. So you got Saar here, blah, blah, blah. So basically, we've kind of like, you know, overloaded this side, as it were. So what will happen, they do get drawn very easily into this side of the pitch. So if Chris Richards got the ball, Jimenez will do his thing. So Smith-Rowe will come over here. Iwobi will come over here. The only thing they do is they might leave like a player like Traore sort of this over the pitch. But these two, the midfielders, will come over here, and like JC said, they will swarm this ball. Now, this is good as long as you get your timings right. So, for example, if we're in this situation and we're kind of a bit stuttery, like we are, then it's a problem because then, we're forced out, we're going to kick long, we're going to give them the ball, and then they're going to retain possession. Bear in mind, we only keep the ball, I think, 44% of the time this season. They keep it 52. It wouldn't surprise me if they keep it more than 52 in this game because of that's just how it is. But that said, let's say we do get it out here and we do have, say, Chilwell holding the line, or even, say, like Ebbs maybe pulls to the side over here. And we perhaps have, Mateta or Sarr occupying the rest of his defence with Munoz pushed up, occupying Robinson perhaps. Then perhaps, and this is maybe where we do miss Anderson, we can either ping it out wide to whoever's there, or we manage to figure out a way where we can get this ball into this middle channel here, whether it's to, say, Gay in the middle or Hughes or whoever's in this middle channel here, and then they can then progress the ball. Because if they win the ball, if they have the ball there, I don't know, let's say Hughes has the ball there, he's been passed the ball. Okay, Traore might come back and track back, although I don't think he really does. It'll be these two players who will be the ones that will try to track back as whoever in this middle drives with the ball. Are they going to do that? I don't know. I don't know enough about Reed to really say how good he is in this aspect, but I think they will miss Lukic in that middle. And then let's say they do break. Generally, what will happen is that these four will be the ones that follow back. And then, again, these four will track back a bit later on. So you can kind of say, well, if we then manage to overload them a little bit, perhaps, maybe we could go for it. But then obviously if we are committing that many players forward, we are ourselves are going to be very exposed if they win the ball in this mid area. And then that'll be a big problem. What else have I got? So when they are in the mid block as well, obviously it is a 4-4-2. I know I just said that it gives good coverage of the ball, but inevitably it does leave gaps in between the lines. So if you are playing diagonal balls through the lines, that is going to be a good thing. If you have, say, maybe like, I don't know, a player who likes to drop between the lines, say like an Abera Eze, then that is going to be good because we have, and if you time it well, it will work. So let's say you have this three occupying this line. They've come a bit narrow because obviously they don't want to have a 1v1 situation there or a defense or allow the attacking team to have an overload. So if you have, say, an Eze, then in a split, say Adam Wharton's received the ball here, for example, and they've got their 4-4-2 block. All it takes is for Eze just to drop off a little bit, maybe Castagna will follow, and then they got to play that nice diagonal ball into there. And my worry is that they'll kind of know this and they'll know that we can't really do it as well the other way around. Like, let's say Hughes has the ball here. Okay, Sarr is okay when he drops off and receives the ball, but it's not as good as Eze. He's very much someone who will run in behind. Which, if we are in this situation, do I think it'll work? I don't know if between Bassey and Robinson, Sarr would necessarily get through, unless it is a good ball, perhaps. I don't know. And then one thing to say is, let's say we do have, I don't know, Hughes in the middle has decided to drop, or I don't know, let's say that Gay's pushed up a little bit, but then decides to drop. What I do notice is that this player does get drawn out. And in that split second between them being here and being there to where, I don't know, to follow Gay, sometimes they will then start to come back because they realise they come too far out of this position. And then that inevitably leaves a gap. Now, does this open up perhaps for a pass to Chilwell on the left-hand side maybe? I don't know, but it opens up a gap on this side of the pitch. What else? Another thing I noticed as well, and I think JC mentioned this last time as one of their problems, was that because they defend zonally, it does mean that you can kind of, like, for example, just this is just an example, right? So let's say that they are defending a bit more like this, and the 4 attacking players are just being a bit more nonchalant or whatever. If you do have a player here and they run, so let's say that let me think here. So let's say that
you can have multiple people in one player's zone. You can like move them around that way.
You can, but specifically, let's say that Saar has dropped. Okay, Saar's kind of. Oh no, actually, let's do the other way around. Let's say Eze's dropped here, and he is here now. Reed, I noticed that if you drive at them with the ball, and let's say that Eze was being marked by Reed because he was in his zone, right? If Hughes was to then drive at Reed, Reed would then come to face up. But because he was because he was marking Eze is now free. And what it means in that split second again, Eze is in some space there. And you can overload them in that way as well. Which was a specific thing that I saw Newcastle doing to them, and they created some good chances with them as well. Oh, okay. Now let's talk about a transition. So as JC said, they're very, very attacking team. It could look something like this, and whatever, something like that. Now, what you'll notice is Robinson is very, very attacking. So when you have that, it means that we can exploit this gap over here. And this is why I said if someone like Ismail Sarr being right-footed will actually, I think, be a positive for us. And the reason why I say that, so let's say they push onto our back line, something like this. Robinson's over here. Reed's kind of like that attacking, slightly more attacking player. They're there doing this, doing that. Maybe he's over here or whatever. Let's push him back a little bit so they've got a bit of a better rest defense. Let's say they lose the ball over here and, Lacroix's won the ball. He's intercepted the ball, for example. Sarr has got all of this space that he will be able to run into. If we just leave him a little bit higher, perhaps. It will be a risk, obviously, because obviously you want more players coming back, but
higher reward.
Exactly. So if he makes it over here, and the quad doesn't even have to be necessarily a good pass, but just a decent pass over to here,
you just got to put it in a good area. You don't have to hit it to feet.
Now, if Sarr was left-footed, he'll naturally want to go this way. And then maybe then Mateta maybe could do this, but I think him running down here would be of a much greater benefit than that, because Robinson's going to be struggling to get back. These are then going to be the immediate players who are going to try and get back. Hopefully Eze's caught up, and I don't know, maybe
Munoz will do the underlap, won't he? Because he loves an underlap.
Yeah, he would be like up here somewhere or whatever. And then in this situation, the reason why I think a right footer will be better is because if you do get to this position, if Bassi comes out, then you got Mateta versus Anderson. And I think if JP just pulls a little bit back, then Sarr is able to right foot, pass it into him here, and then you're in a fantastic position where hopefully Castagna is struggling to get back, and then you got Eze overlapping, or let's say Munoz has caught up. He's here. He's then carrying on his run. He's carrying on his run. Maybe if Castagna's here, and then you've got an overload on the right-hand side. The only thing I will say is kind of Fulham's secret weapon here is that Bassi is very good at stopping dribbles. So Bassi's tackle percentage rate of dribblers is 80% this year.
Whoa!
I know, that's crazy, and
that's got to be like highest in Europe, no? That's got to be well up there.
I'm not sure, and it's not even from a small sample size as well. Like it's been like 20. But so really, what I've seen happen, and this happened with Newcastle, was that they did manage to ping out here, but by the time it got over here, Bassi had come out and then basically just took the ball very well, very good defending, and then then they've got the ball again. Obviously, as well, if we kick it long to Anderson, he's going to win the ball. But I would like to see us in a situation where we're like here, Bassey's then coming out, which then leaves a gap for Mateta to exploit. Because I think in a foot race between him and Anderson, I think Mateta wins out all day long. And that is from their very, very attacking mindset. And that is all I have to say about that. So, yeah, so I think we just need to make sure that we are timing our passes right. And if we do that, we're going to end up with good spaces to exploit. And also, I think we can hit him on the transition, especially through Ismail Assar, if we can get around Calvin Bassey. Now, I'm actually a bit hopeful for this game as well. And the reason why
that's one part of the stats that misses out a little bit. You found that on FBref in at 80%.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at where it is on the heat map, so it's a total of 20.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all 16, but all 4. So bear in mind, this is over 2 seasons. All 4 of the ones that he's not gotten, he's given away penalties on all 4 of them.
Really?
Yeah. So he's given away 4 penalties over 2 seasons, and all of those are challenges that he made when someone was dribbling in the box.
So I'm not surprised because he is quite an aggressive defender. Like I think, like
so outside of the box, don't go anywhere near him. In the box, dribble at him. That's what that means.
Well, I guess that compliments Anderson. Then. Oh no, Ben Anderson's quite aggressive as well, isn't he? So
yeah, he's given away a few pens for us.
Yeah, definitely. But the only things I'm gonna leave with, and this kind of goes into the predictions actually as well, is that Fulham are actually one of the only other teams, including us, who have actually got a better points per game record away from home than they do at home this season. And in fact, in their last 7 games, this is going to be a bad stat considering we are a charity professional football club. But they've only won twice in their last 7 home games. But then equally, they've only actually lost twice as well. So they've drawn. So it's what? Drawn 3, 1-2, drawn 3, lost 2. And those draws include Ipswich and Southampton. So, I don't think I'm less worried about facing them at their place than I am at our place as it currently stands. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. Have you got any questions or?
No, I think you covered everything. Transitions, press, everything. Score predictions. So, with score predictions, the host is normally the person that throws themselves under the bus. So I will proceed to, I don't know. Am I going to be boring? I think so.
Depends what boring is.
Boring means we've got a good defence and they've got a good defence. They can't really score too many goals. We seem to score better away from home. I think it'll be the same as last year at 1-1.
Oh, I was going to go 1-1 as well. I think it'll be 1-1. Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to do the same. I'm going to copy. Just because, I mean, because their home record isn't that good, really. Obviously, now I'm saying that we're going to get battered. And also, I feel like our away record against them is actually not too bad. I feel like it's our home record against them that isn't very good. It's our away record's all right. Let me have a look.
Max is saying 3-1 to us. Devaney double, Anderson 1, Mateta 1. Kevin is agreeing with us, saying 1-1, but only if we're lucky. Animal says 2-1. 2-0 to us. Tim is saying 2-0 to Palace. Durfez is saying 2-0 Palace. Damo saying 2-0 Palace. Damn. You guys are a lot more confident than us.
So, actually, the last time we lost at Fulham was 2005.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
So our last game, obviously, we drew 1-1. The game before that was a 2-2 draw. The game before that was a 0-0 draw. 1-1, 2-1. The 0-0 was at our place. Then we beat them 2-1, and we beat them 2-0. I'm trying to remember the 2-1. That was in COVID. That's why I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Gyro
Riedewald.
Yeah.
That was the first
Gyro
game.
Riedewald.
That was first game of the season, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it must have. Wait, hang on. No, you're thinking of when Jeffrey Schlupp scored. Ironically.
Chris said 1-0 to the Palace. The dog said 0-0. Oh no! I was watching the Bayern Munich game on a dodgy stream and just got taken down. No. Oh well. Guys, thank you very, very much for all the comments. We really appreciate them all. Everyone that sat here watching 2005 before you guys were born. No,
Whoa.
I was born.
Whoa.
I was born. Have that.
I'm not that young, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, Dan was a teenager when that happened.
Not quite. Not quite.
Yeah. Guys, thank you very, very much for watching. Oh no, Dan, is there something else you want to say before we round up?
Watch along. I'll do a watch along on Saturday. Is that the thing?
Yes. So what I think what it was there was mad juju going on. So if we only did a vlog, we lost. If you only did a watch along, you lost. But whenever Dan's gone and we've watch alonged, we've won both times.
Kind of. Because the first time we broke that was the Brighton game, and obviously you were there as well.
Yeah, but those guys still did a
right, I see what you're saying.
watch along though.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're doing it the other way around. So I'm gonna vlog it, and Dan's gonna watch along it. So let's hope it works that way around. But yeah, should be a good game. We have got Rihanna editing the vlog, so the quality is going to be much higher than it has been when I edit it.
Oh, I thought you were going to palm me.
Nah, I'm parting myself. Then again, you got a little bit excited of your transitions, didn't you?
Oh, come on. I got, honestly, those 6 rings and chips I had, honestly, they deserved their own little moment.
You know what's funny about that? Bro ate the food, went to the game, didn't give a match review, but gave a food review.
I did give a match review.
For like 30 seconds. You was talking about the damn wings and chips for like 2 minutes. Was you waved?
I was a bit waved, yeah. I wasn't mega waved, but I was a bit waved.
It was a good wave.
It was a good level of wave.
It was a good level of waved. All right, guys, thank you very much. Big up, Tim.
Big up, Tim.
We'll try and do some forbidden rituals to try and get rid of the juju. Thanks for watching. Up the Palace. Tim liked your food review.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Girls.
Egos.